All right, guys. Doug from Salt Lake. I'm very tired, but I want to keep you guys in the loop. So I'm very, very confused because I've read documents and shown you guys documents that say that Congress created the all cap name. Congress created the 14th Amendment citizen. It was an act of Congress. They sold us all into slavery and gave us all to the Federal Reserve. And they put us on these Federal Reserve debt notes. And they pledged the labor of the United States citizens to back up their bankruptcy. Okay? I mean, we've all read all the documents. We know it's all a fucking fraud. And I don't get why these people in the federal district court do not want to look over my administrative process. They are doing everything that they can to say that they don't have subject matter jurisdiction. Um, so I got this from him the other day. This is his recommendation. Oh, by the way, this is from the magistrate. Okay, this is not from the judge. And if you go back a couple of videos, I filled out paperwork, man, that said I don't want a magistrate looking over my case. I want a judge looking over the case. So why is a magistrate looking over the case? Okay, there it is right there, magistrate. Okay, doesn't say judge, it says magistrate. Why is he overseeing it? I don't understand. Anyway, they are saying that I'm failing, even though I sent them. Let's see, it says it right here. It says 69 pages of stuff. I sent them a 12-page document showing diversity. And now they've batted the ball back into my court. And let's just see what he has to say here. So, um, it's before the magistrate, pursuant 28-636, which basically just says that the magistrate is allowed to look it over and that the judge will make the final decision. Uh, then it goes into jurisdiction again, just says the same thing as the first one said. Okay, it's got to make sure that it has jurisdiction. Okay, and it rests upon the party asserting it. Okay, I got it, man. I gave you, 60 pages of shit that says you have jurisdiction. Okay, so here's where it gets good. So it says the plaintiff appears to assert diversity jurisdiction and provided us with 69 pages of sealed private exhibits along with the following relevant. Okay, now remember every word, man. All the language is very important. Say along with the following relevant arguments, which means all of these arguments are relevant. Okay, or as a corporation, Douglas Richard is public, court is aware. Okay, we read all this in the other one. Okay, this is all the stuff that I brought up. Okay, I'm not a U.S. citizen, but the other one is. Okay, and then Rule 24B, I'm coming in, I'm intervening as a right in this action because I have a security interest. Okay, so he's got all this stuff, right? These are all relevant. It's his words. They are relevant arguments. Okay? So these are all nice, concise, brought up the right stuff. And look what this punk says. After all that, the plaintiff fails to establish complete diversity now. Now it's complete diversity. Now he's got 1332, and up here he's got, where the hell is it, man? I apologize. I'm tired. it's in here somewhere. So anyway, he talks about 1331 also. Oh, you know what? It's down here. So I'm sorry, man. We'll go. So remember that 1332, and here it is, 1331. Okay, talks about both of those. So first thing is, he says, even after 69 pages of shit, says plaintiff fails to establish complete diversity. In his response, Mr. Mumey attempts to distinguish between the all-cap name, a U.S. citizen, and Mr. Mumey, the man. It is unclear for purposes of jurisdiction as to whether the all-cap name or Mr. Mumey brings the current action. Well, hey, stupid. Who's the fucking plaintiff? Huh? I mean, I don't even know what to say to that kind of stupid shit. So, who's the plaintiff? And we all know that this all capitalized name is backed up by a man. Okay, so it is unclear for purposes of jurisdiction as whether Doug or Doug brought this action. Okay, well, nonetheless, it should have said none of the allegations as to either Mr. Mumey or Mr. Mumey provide information on his domicile. Okay, so now they're squirming in their seat about domicile. Okay, because I don't know if you guys know or not, but being a resident, being a domicile, and living and sojourning and being a perpetual traveler and all that shit, it all has to do with where you were at. And then it says in here too, didn't provide information on his domicile the time the action was filed. Well, god damn it, come on, dude. I mean, they are trying so hard not to look at this. And you better believe that the federal courts and the state courts are in contract. Okay? You better believe it. Then it says, second, plaintiff does not establish federal jurisdiction question. Okay? A suit arises under the law that creates the cause of action. As addressed previously, Mr. Mumey's complaint appears to only assert state law causes of action. So that might be good, that might be bad, okay? But we're going to address that, okay? So although the plaintiff's responses references for the first time due process and FDCPA, which is your whole administrative process because it has to do with debt, arises under federal law must be determined in reference to well-pleaded complaint, okay? So there's the well-pleaded again. So maybe my bill in equity wasn't well pleaded enough. Remember, it was only 3 pages long, okay? So there is not established subject matter jurisdiction. Court recommends that this action be dismissed. And then it says that I can notify my right to object, blah, 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 okay? So you're goddamn right I objected. And so here's what we said. So we put in there the authorized representative for and through the plaintiff. Who's the plaintiff? Right? That's the plaintiff, dude. That's your U.S. citizen. That's a federal jurisdiction question. Replies to the report from the magistrate and will state for the record he believes the magistrate is incorrect about his jurisdiction, diversity, domicile, and residence, and praises court might consider giving the plaintiff an opportunity to amend, okay, and make it more well pleaded. Okay, we'll just throw that in there. Maybe they'll let me. Who knows? Or they'll just dismiss it, or and we'll get to this. Maybe they'll transfer it or refer it to state action. We'll see. Mr. Mumey has entered into this, entered all the documents correct to prove diversity, and this court has original jurisdiction over the U.S. citizen, okay, from here on Douglas, and the state of Utah's federally funded Child Support Office of Recovery Services, okay? You have jurisdiction over these motherfuckers, man. I don't know why. Okay, I apologize. I'm tired, and I start to cuss when I'm tired. Objections will be numbered, okay? And it'll be backed by U.S. code and definitions of domicile and resident. Plaintiff At the end of the objections, we'll move this court to transfer this case to the proper venue. Okay? And, that's if you overrule and complete jurisdiction has not been established. Okay, so let's go. Objection number 1. As a subject matter, magistrate is aware that Mr. Moomey and Douglas Richard Moomey, the all-cap legal fiction, ens legis, item sonins, fucking legal see, I did it again, are diverse. It is true. One is a man, one is a fiction created by Congress, okay? So that's important, dude, because that right there is an act of Congress. That is true. It's called a transmitting utility used by corporations to do business with real people. That is true. The magistrate is incorrect in his assumption that there is no difference between a U.S. citizen named as the plaintiff and the American national, sovereign, state citizen, Mr. Moomey, representing it. That is true. Mr. Moomey and Douglas Richard Moomey are diverse, as seen in Exhibit B in the sealed documents I gave him and my UCC filing. That is recorded public knowledge. That is true. Douglas brought the action, so this court has jurisdiction. That is true. I think. Okay, so here's objection number 2, subject matter jurisdiction. This court has jurisdiction over U.S. citizens. Douglas Richard Moomey is a 14th Amendment citizen. The plaintiff, Douglas Richard Moomey, was created through an act of Congress, and district courts have original jurisdiction. That is true. As to constitutional question, the plaintiff's right to contract is unlimited, protected, and secured. True. And this court must review the administrative process done by a U.S. citizen showing a federally funded agency who is in contract with the United States under 42 U.S.C. is enforcing a fraudulent color of law judgment without consent and without a valid contract for child support services. Is there a question about plaintiff's protected rights? Yes. Okay? So far, I got your ass. Yeah, I mean, unless they're all corrupt and in the, Objection 4. As to jurisdiction, authorized representative filed paperwork sent by U.S. mail, has received correspondence by U.S. mail, the post office is federal, any communications using federal zip codes grants this court jurisdiction over both parties. True. Okay? It's federal. Now, here's diversity. Here's 1332. The district courts, this is, dude, let me show you. Okay. So, here it is. We went over this again. This is 28 code, 1332, diversity of citizen. Okay, what's this say right here? The district courts shall have original jurisdiction, controversy over 75,000. That's why we put it in there. And citizens of different states. Citizens of a state and citizens or subjects of a foreign state, except that the district courts shall not have jurisdiction under this subsection of an action between citizens of a state. And you notice too, man, it says state and it says state. This is all cap. This is not. That's important. And citizens or subjects of a foreign state who are lawfully admitted permanent residents, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Citizens of different states in which the citizens or subjects of a foreign state are additional parties. A foreign state. That's foreign to me. I made that very clear. Okay? And then it goes into some other stuff. Every state and foreign state which insure is this. Okay, this has got insured corporations, principal places of businesses, legal representatives of estates, decedents. Okay, so that's, and then it goes into members of classes of plaintiffs. Okay, this is just craziness. All this stuff here has to do with how much, and state officials. Of course, they're immune, and all that stuff. But there it is right there, right? There's 1331. Let's go to 1331. Federal question right there. It's real simple. The district court shall have original jurisdiction of all civil actions arising under the Constitution, laws, or treaties of the United States. Well, let me think about it for a second. Is the United States federal government corporation in some kind of a contract or treaty or agreement or arrangement with the state of Utah corporation? I think they are. So I think this dude's just playing with me. So anyway, we went through the same thing. I underlined foreign state, right? Okay. There's the definition because it talks about a foreign state defined in section 16.3a. Okay. So I put that in there. Okay. 1608 refers to service of process and doesn't apply. Includes a political subdivision of a foreign state or agency or instrumentality of a foreign state. Well, gee, does that sound like a rogue government agency set up by the state so that they can get federal grant money to fuck you through some non-contract? Yes, it sure does. Separate legal person, corporation, or otherwise. Therefore, after all this grammatical legal gymnastics, the plaintiff is within the United States. ORS is within the United States. ORS granted you jurisdiction by a funding contract with the United States to enforce federal child support law, doing business in the state of Utah, which is within the United States, through another contract to enforce federal child support law. If you are in contract with the federal government operating a commercial for-profit corporation within the United States and you take federal funding, you are subject to its jurisdiction. All commerce done within the United States is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It's the Commerce Clause. It's Article 1, Section 8. It's right in the Constitution. What's the state definition? State includes any state of the United States. Okay? I got your ass, dude. Okay. As to who brings this action, as stated in the magistrate's report, Mooney attempts to distinguish between Douglas Richard Mooney, la 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 la. Given this bifurcation, it is unclear for purposes of jurisdiction as to whether Douglas Richard Mooney or Douglas Richard Mooney brings the current action. That is untrue. Okay? That is a falsity. That is a fabricated. Therefore, the plaintiff, Douglas Richard Mooney, all capitalized letters, is the one named on the complaint. So a U.S. citizen is bringing this action. That is true. Okay? Now this gets a little crazy. Okay? We're talking about residence and domicile. Residence. Living or dwelling in a certain place permanently or for a considerable length of time. Okay? This is residence. The place where a man makes his home. A man makes his home. And where he dwells permanently or for an extended period of time. Okay? I'll stop that right there. You can read all that. Residence means a fixed and permanent abode or dwelling. Okay? A person may be a legal resident of one place and an actual resident of another. Okay? Again, we'll stop this. You can read this. You got to read it a couple of times. Okay? And what's domicile? A domicile is that place in which a man has voluntarily fixed the habitation of himself and his family, not for a mere special or temporary purpose, but with the present intention of making a permanent home. Okay? Domicile is but the established, fixed, permanent, ordinary dwelling place or place of residence. Isn't that weird how they use the word residence in domicile? Of a person, as distinguished from his temporary or transient area. It is his legal residence. Okay? So domicile is your legal residence, right? And residence is your domicile. And if that don't make sense, I'm fucking with you, because, if you're going to dismiss this case because of a domicile or a residence, or you don't know where I was fucking living when I did this, you are an ass bag, and you should be. You know what? I can tell already. I'm going to have to start filing criminal complaints too. So, but anyway, here's objection number 8, as to where the plaintiff can seek relief. Dismissal is inappropriate. This court must grant some sort of remedy to a citizen because of plaintiff's 10 relative arguments addressed by the magistrate report. True. You have to grant me remedy. You have to give me something. Okay? Well, look what I found. In 1631, transfer to cure want of jurisdiction. Okay? Whenever a civil action is filed in a court as defined in section 610 of this title, and 610 is the definition of a United States court, because I had to look that up, or an appeal, including a petition for review of an administrative action. That's exactly what we're doing. That is the plaintiff. Is noticed or filed with such a court, and that court finds that there is a want of jurisdiction. The court shall, doesn't say might, could be maybe. The court could suggest. No, it says the court shall, if it is in the interest of justice, which, there isn't a whole lot of justice in these courts, transfer such action or appeal to any other such court in which the action or appeal could have been brought at the time it was filed or noticed. And the action or appeal shall proceed as if it had been filed in or noticed for the court in which it was transferred on the date, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's stop. Let's look at the front here. Okay, this is objection to magistrate, report, and recommendation. And there's my motion to transfer. Okay, so you got to do everything by motion. So if I didn't put that in there, then he would have said, well, you didn't motion the court. So anyway, therefore, the plaintiff who is bringing this action believes this court is the correct venue. However, if this court feels it does not have complete jurisdiction, even after all this evidence, the plaintiff would move this court to transfer the case in the interest of justice to the correct court with the correct jurisdiction to grant remedy to the plaintiff. The plaintiff's representative would also respectfully ask for the court to rule on plaintiff's objections by number so that the plaintiff can preserve any errors. Plaintiff would also ask that fees for transfer be waived. Plaintiff moves this court to review his administrative process and grant the remedy requested as seen in final amended motion for summary judgment. So there you go. That's what's going on in the world of Doug. So once again, it's I just don't know what to do. But I'll tell you one thing. This was filed 11/25. This is that report and recommendation. And you know what? Let me show you one more thing too. Let's see if I can do this while we're live. Let's see, where's it at? Case summary. Case summary. Is this it? No, this ain't it. I know. Let's see, status, history, documents. Is that where I just went? Didn't I just show you that? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is, motion. This is, here's the case number. There it is right there. If you want to check it out, you can see what I filed. You can read the documents. You can go in there and look around if you want. I don't care. I ain't got nothing. You're not going to see all my UCC filing. But anyway, this is what's going on, man. They are trying to dismiss this so bad. And they're going from jurisdiction to domicile to, well pleaded to, man, they are doing everything they can. But you know what? I will never, ever give up. I will sue. I will sue these people until they finally just say, you know what? Just dismiss this shit. Just get this dude out of my face. I will never, ever let these people get away with it.